Welcome to the Sharma show. Today on the show, the operationalization of the Chabahar Port, yet another referendum, this time in Catalonia, and I give my thoughts on the firecracker ban for Diwali. Let's get into it. Welcome to a brand spanking new edition of the Sharma show. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Now, our first story of the day is about the operationalization of the Chabahar port. So today, India flagged off a shipment of wheat through Iran's Chabahar port. Now, the Chabahar port is a port developed by India, Afghanistan, and Iran. And the development of the port is for a very particular reason. From India's perspective, the development of the port torpedoes the Pakistan veto over trade between India and Afghanistan because for Pakistan's point of view, it makes sense to keep Afghanistan a blown-up hellhole. But from India's point of view, a prosperous, well-to-do, stable Afghanistan is better, not just for India, but for the entire region and, of course, for the entire planet. Now, obviously, Pakistan always has been looking at circumscribing India's role in Afghanistan because they know that India's goal is to build a more stable Afghanistan. Now, this operationalization of the Chabahar port also fits in very well with the new American policy for Afghanistan and South Asia. Now, the new American policy, as detailed by President Trump, calls for India to play a much larger role in stabilizing Afghanistan and the entire South Asian region in general. Now, this is a fantastic development because this port completely eliminates the need for any reliance upon Pakistan for trade between India and Afghanistan. A foreign ministry statement said, "The wheat shipment is a landmark moment as it will pave the way for operationalization of the Chabahar port as an alternate, reliable, and robust connectivity for Afghanistan. It will open up new opportunities for trade and transit from and to Afghanistan and enhance trade and commerce between the three countries and the wider region." And this, of course, is great news. It is in the interest of all three countries, Iran, India, and Afghanistan, to have a more stable Afghanistan. It also provides a very good counter from the point of view in Afghanistan and India to the Gwadar port that is being developed by China in Pakistan in the Balochistan region. So yeah, essentially I think it's a great development, and I think it's a great first step that the countries have taken towards ensuring more stability in the Afghanistan and the Southern Asia region. Now, for our second story, this is something that it makes no sense to me, really. I don't think this is something that should happen. So what's happened is a 19-year-old boy who's a fan of the Tamil actor Vijay. He has been arrested by the police in Tamil Nadu for posting something on social media which had derogatory comments about Narendra Modi, and he said something like Narendra Modi needs to be taught a lesson. Now, apparently the comments were based on a movie that Vijay has recently come out with called Mersal, and the movie had a couple of jokes about GST and its bad implementation and all of that sort. And obviously some BJP state leaders saw this message or post on Facebook or something, and they complained to the police, and police went ahead and arrested the guy. Now, I completely do not agree with somebody getting arrested for a Facebook post unless obviously he's calling for violence or he is threatening violence of his own. In fact, I think everybody in the country, whether actor, whether regular person, movies, TV, I think everybody should be able to poke fun or, have some criticism for the government if they want. I think that's what creates a healthy democracy. I was also completely against the arrest of that teenager in Kolkata, where he apparently posted something about the Prophet Muhammad on social media, and then this huge mob gathered outside his house and they were calling for his head, and the police came and the police arrested him, and he was in jail for a little while. And again, I really don't think that someone should be arrested for posting something that is a criticism, as long as it's not a call to violence and is not a threat of violence. And whether it's being done by the left and whether it's being done by the right, I think it's wrong, and I think that should not happen. Moving on. So this is a little late in the day, but I wanted to cover it in an episode nevertheless. So recently in Delhi, the Supreme Court banned the sale of firecrackers till the 1st of October, saying that around Diwali, the spike in air pollution is very high, and this move will help counter that air pollution. But here's the thing, I don't think this really is a good solution, and this is more of just like a symbolic measure rather than anything else. My first problem with this ban is that it was around so late and so close to the actual Diwali date that many traders and many people who sell fireworks, they had absolutely no time to adjust their stock accordingly. So as per reports, this could lead to losses to somewhere around 1,000 crore rupees, because the Delhi NCR region accounts for about 20 to 25% of fire consumption during Diwali in India. The problem with this ban is that there are many more other systemic problems that Delhi faces rather than just this firecracker stuff, because Delhi's air pollution is badly affected by firecracker for, let's say, barely 1 week out of 52 weeks. For the rest of the year, most of the pollution is caused by road dust, by crop waste burning, by garbage burning in landfills, and of course vehicular pollution. In fact, around autumn, around the time that Diwali usually falls, farmers all over in UP, in Haryana, and in Punjab, they all burn their crop waste around this time of the year, and that creates this huge smog and a lot of smoke in the air as well, and obviously contributes in a large way to the atmospheric pollution in Delhi. Now, interestingly, stubble burning was made illegal in the Delhi NCR region and in Haryana and UP and Rajasthan following a December 2015 order. But obviously the implementation of that order has been completely patchy, and that crop burning is still happening in all of those states. Now, obviously vehicles account for 20% of that atmospheric pollution as well. And in Delhi, it's particularly crazy because you have a family of 3, and I've seen that. I used to live in places like Greater Kerala, and I've visited places like Gurgaon, and you see their family of 3 have 6 cars. What do they need those cars for? Nobody bloody knows, but they have them. So as you can see, there are more systemic problems that are part of this whole pollution issue rather than just banning firecrackers on Diwali. In fact, I believe that most Hindus themselves were gradually reducing the consumption of firecrackers. How do I know that? Well, I know that from personal experience, because I used to love bursting firecrackers when I was a kid, but for the past 5 or 6 years at least, I haven't been bursting any firecrackers at all for Diwali. And many people I know myself don't burst any firecrackers for Diwali and haven't been doing that for the past 5 or 6 years themselves. So for all the things that I mentioned above, the major contributors of the atmospheric pollution in Delhi and the reason the air quality is so bad in Delhi, there's not really much of a strategy around how to deal with those problems. So what the Supreme Court has basically decided to do is that what we're going to do is we're going to pass this big symbolic decision, and obviously the national media and the international media is going to focus on, oh, look at that, you know, the Supreme Court taking care of business. And I also think that because of measures like these, certain communities feel targeted. They feel like it's way too easy for courts and governments to legislate on Diwali. It's way too easy for courts and governments to legislate on Dahi Handi, on Dashehra and Durga Puja, and half-baked, half-assed decisions and rulings like these, whether those concerns are true or not. Decisions like these tend to add just more fuel to the fire. So, well, that's what I think, and that's my question of the day to you. What do you think about this whole issue? What do you think about the whole firecracker ban? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. Now, from India, we travel all the way to Catalonia to yet another referendum. It looks like it's referendum week on the show. So recently, a referendum for independence was held in a Spanish province of Catalonia. The referendum was held on October 1st. The referendum question, which voters answered with a yes or no, was, do you want Catalonia to become an independent state in the form of a republic? The yes side won with 92% voting for independence on a turnout of 43.03%. Now, right off the bat, there's a little bit of controversy around that voting number, because a lot of people are saying that only 43% of people came out to vote, and that's not really representative. But at the same time, the Catalan government is accusing the Spanish police of cracking down really hard on people who are coming to vote for Catalan independence, and thus a lot of people were actually not able to come out and vote themselves. Now, why does Catalonia want independence? So Catalonia was an independent part of the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal, with its own distinct culture, language. Now, in the War of Spanish Succession in 1714, Catalonia was defeated, and thus the Spanish state as we know today was created. In 1931, some semblance of autonomy was returned to Catalonia, with the Generalitat reinstated in Catalonia. However, Francisco Franco took power in 1938 and took those powers away from Catalonia again. But after Francisco Franco's death in 1975, autonomy was soon returned to Catalonia again. So at the moment, Catalonia has quite a bit of autonomy when it comes to policing, when it comes to education and healthcare. So obviously it's been a long road for Catalonia to gain some sort of autonomy, and ever since the economic crisis in Spain, that has intensified as well, because Catalonia is a very prosperous part of Spain. They account for nearly 20% of Spain's GDP, and after the economic crisis in Spain, Catalonia and the Catalonian people see themselves as propping up the Spanish economy, so to say. So recently, since the referendum, the leader of Catalonia, Carles Puigdemont, I think that's how it's pronounced, Puigdemont has declared independence for the Catalonian people, and as a result of that, the Spanish president Mariano Rajoy has imposed Article 155 on the region. Now, under Article 155, Madrid gets direct control of the Catalonian region. So all the autonomy that the Catalan people enjoy right now will be taken over by Spain directly. And Mariano Rajoy will become the direct leader of the Catalan region, and Carles Puigdemont will be fired. The Spanish government has also fired the chief of police of the Catalan region, and Spain is also looking at holding fresh regional elections in the area on December 21st. Now, the sacked leader Carles Puigdemont has said that they will offer a democratic opposition to this decision by the Spanish government, but he hasn't really made clear how that opposition will come around and how democratic that opposition will be. And obviously, as the situation develops, we'll cover it in a future show. Now, I want to finish today's episode with something interesting that I've been watching on TV and that I think that people should check out as well. I've been watching this show called Mindhunters. I just finished watching season 1. And I think it's a fantastic show. It's on Netflix, streaming now, and I think people should definitely check it out. So Mindhunters is a TV show based on the true crime book Mindhunter, inside the FBI's elite serial crime unit, written by John E. Douglas and Mark Olshaker. The protagonist of this show interview imprisoned serial killers in order to understand how such criminals think and apply this knowledge to solving ongoing cases. And this book, and John E. Douglas is actually credited with creating the behavioral science unit in the FBI. And it's a great show. It's a bit of a slow burner, but it creates this incredible sense of dread when you're watching the show, and when these guys are sitting there with the serial killers and talking to them and interviewing them and asking them why they did what they did, and the serial killers explaining their whole process. It creates for some very compelling story, and it creates a really good sense of dread as well. So I think it's a really good show. Like I said, season 1 is streaming on Netflix, so go check it out. And that's the show. Thank you for watching. Again, I appreciate you. We'll be back again next week with the latest stories of the day, and we will keep you updated. If you like the show, please like it, please share it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. If you liked anything about the show, leave a comment about that. If you didn't like anything about the show, leave a comment about that. We're going to be back next week, and we will keep you updated with all the latest stories of the day. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure your notifications are on. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon.